Hi, my name is Farofeda, and today I'm going to cover how we are going to convert our Laravel application into Docker. So, if I show my existing application I have created here, this is my simple application. It is built on Laravel, and for the database I have used mysql, which definitely show all the steps and everything regarding this application. All the information I will be sharing with you. So this is the project, and simply what we can do here, we can create any post like I have put it here, and whatever I have just put it here, it is just creating a post, and then I can delete it and edit it. I have put the wrong spelling, so test 34567 and update the post. So this is a working simple Laravel application. Now look into it in a bit detail that how I have configured. So first of all, I have the full code and everything. I have cloned it here. Uh, I have put in my repo, and I have cloned from there. So this is my repo. Here I have this application. So I've simply cloned it from here. So by the way, you will have all these details in a link in a description below. So let's look into it. I have configured at this path my dash Laravel app, and here I have all the thing in place. So this application I have configured it on this path. It is on Laravel. I have used PHP FPM 8.4 here while configuring this on my system, and I have a database as well on MySQL. So MySQL version, if I check MySQL dash dash, so MySQL 8.0.39 Ubuntu, I have it here. Similarly, if I check the configuration for my web server, let me, and here is a file laraveldemo.conf. So if I look into it, it is listing on port 80, which is same, and then I have set the name myblog.farrukh.fida. This is the domain name of my website address on which I am browsing my website. Here myblog.farrukh.fida. This domain is not anywhere registered now. I am using it by putting an entry in my host file that I will show you also. And then after a root path where my application contents are present, so it is var www.html my Laravel app public, and then what are the index file, it will be taking it as is, and we don't have to type the file name. So index.html, index.php, or index.html. I have set the access log at this path var log nginx my blog underscore access, and similarly for the error log. Location I have put it here, and then here I have put include PHP FPM here. So PHP FPM 8.4 I have configured it here. So this is pre-configured and it is working. Let me also quickly show you where I have put the entry, my blog, this entry, myblog.farrukh.fida. It is in host. So if you come up over here, I have just put an entry 127.0.0.1, and it is here. So I am here on this path. Now let's start how we are going to convert it, because this application is working fine. So if I also show you before doing that the database, that I have the database, any database which is working here. Let me close it, and here I have the database. The database name I have put it as DemoDB, and it has a couple of tables, 4-5 tables, user and post, and all these data are here. So let's look into the application structure. It's a standard Laravel application, and let's look into the env. So let me open env, and in env we have to take care while we are converting it into Docker environment. Not only we are converting this application, also we have to take the backup or the dump of the existing database and import into another Dockerized environment. You can also use the existing database as well, but to Dockerize the full environment, I'm taking it as an example. So I have here defined, let's consider now the database name, which is db mydemodb. So similarly, mydemodb is here. So first thing first, what we are going to do before converting into the Docker, let me take the dump of my database. Dump database, taking a dump, and start the dump. It's started and finished. Let's check at home for row. It should be available. So it is here. I have taken the backup and it comes up over here. So converting any application into Docker requires couple of things. That couple of things is it required Dockerfile. That is number one. Number two, since we are going to use it on our system, so we will be creating Docker compose as well. So here is the Docker compose, and Dockerfile is also required. So let me show you quickly the Dockerfile, and I will also explain the folder structure, that why I have chosen it. So here I have the Dockerfile. So why we have used the Dockerfile, once we are developing our application or we are converting our existing application into Docker, then we write the Dockerfile. If we are using any application which is the image is ready, means most of the application are hosted on Docker Hub, so we are not creating those images ourselves, we are just pulling those images. Like here, the syntax is since it is a Laravel application, and here for the Docker I am using PHP FPM 8.2, and this syntax from PHP 8.2 FPM, it is saying that first of all, when the system is going to create an image of my existing application, what it has to do, it has to pull PHP FPM 8.2 from Docker Hub. So if I search it, I can able to find it, Docker Hub. So here I have the official image, PHP 8.2 FPM. It is from PHP, it is the official image. So I have pulled this image. Now the next line, after pulling that image, am I going to use as is? No, because I'm using this image to build my existing application code into Dockerized environment. So for that I required few things to be installed in this image. So for those installation, what I have to do, I have to install some packages. Like first of all, I have to update it, and then I have to install cron, and then these are the plugins of the utilities, or the module I have to install here, and then I have to install the curl, git, unzip. These are the utilities, and then I also install the nginx here in my base application image, which is built on PHP FPM 8.2. So I put the nginx as well and supervisor as well. By the way, supervisor and cron are not going to be used in this project, but it will definitely be helpful if you are using your own application and it's required queue work or it's required cron to be added, then those things will definitely be helpful. Similarly, nginx we can install separately as well, but here for the simplicity I'm including nginx as well in this Dockerfile. So let's move forward, and again I am after installing I'm just clearing the cache, and then PHP extensions I'm going to install here on this path, and then here I am going to install the required for the Laravel composer. So here again the syntax, it is saying dash dash from is equal to composer latest. We have learned that if we put this keyword here from and then put the name like this, then by default it will be looking the image from here, from Docker Hub. So similarly, if we come over here and then copy from composer latest and here putting it here and putting it here, then composer it will be fetching from the latest composer with the latest tag from Docker Hub. So if I search it similarly, and here we have the official image of composer with latest tag to, and these are the different tags. So I have used here with the latest tag. So latest tag is here. So let me recap what we are doing. We are just fetching 8.2 FPM from Docker Hub and install the required utilities onto it, including nginx and other utilities, and then after that we are clearing up the cache, and then after that we are going to install, we have been installing this PHP extensions, and then after that we are going to install composer. So composer we are directly calling it or the pulling it from the Docker Hub, and then after that what we are going to do, we are putting a work directory. So let's suppose we are going to create a container, and in that container, let me better define it. So we are going to make our existing applications container. So this is, suppose this is a container, and here I have all my code here. As we all know, containers are like the VMs or the virtual machine. Oh, sorry for my sloppy handwriting. So this is basically a VM which has our application, and in Dockerfile we have already defined what base image we required and whatever the software we need to install, the utilities and everything, and now we are here at work dir. So work dir in an empty container, we are saying okay, this is a container, a VM, but slash var www.html, this is my working path or the work directory, and in a very next line what I'm doing here, I'm saying copy dot to var www.html. So I have created a path here, and whatever the files I have on my system or in a current directory, which is here, let me show you, which is here, all these files, which is my currently Laravel applications working file. So I just need to copy all those files onto the path that I have defined. So I have defined a path here, var www.html, and put all my source code here at this path. And then after that, I am just copying the permission or the ownership, which is change ownership to www.data username and www.data password to the existing directory, and for the var www.html. So all the ownership will be var www.html. And then after that, what we are doing when first time we are installing our application, we are just putting composer install. So here I have put the composer install. No interaction. Since I am making it an non-interactive type of installation of the composer, so I'm not running it separately. That is why interaction, like means choose yes or choose no, I cannot do it. So I have to put this flag no interaction here. So run composer install, and then after that copy docker cron tab, means this is for the cron, because I have a folder docker cron tab a file onto a different location. For my source code, I have put to var www.html and etc cron laravel cron. For the cron job, we will be using this to copy that. But for this project, we don't have any cron, so we can completely ignore it. But keep it in your application. It will definitely have no harm. So these are the cron and cron log. Could be ignored for this. And then after that, what we have to do, we have to make nginx configuration inside our container. So again, we have to copy docker nginx default.conf to etc nginx conf.d default.conf. So here this is my source code, and somewhere I have the nginx file as well. So nginx file I have to put onto some specific path where the nginx can take those files and take action on it, because I have also installed the nginx onto my folder as well. So by doing this nginx configuration file, I'm just copying it to etc nginx com.d default.com, and then supervisor could be ignored, these line could be ignored, and then I'm saying expose 8080. So port 8080 should be exposed. Once this container will be up, it should listen on port 8080. And to start this container, I have put a shell command. Shell -c is a syntax, and what it has to start php fpm and nginx. So this is all about my Dockerfile, how I write the Dockerfile. So Dockerfile, in a nutshell, I am pulling an image which is php fpm, installing my own utilities and software onto it, including the nginx, which is the required one, by the way, here in this example, and then install the extensions, setting a working directory, and then copy all my source code into the directory, putting a permission in, and installing a composer as well. And after composer installation, what I did, I have to copy the nginx configuration as well, and then after that exposing a port, and finally run up the container. So this is here. So this is about the Dockerfile. If I can quickly show you where I have this. So let me show with cat docker, and then I have php, and then I have a Dockerfile. So here is a Dockerfile. It is a similar one, since I have cloned the similar project here. Similarly, if it is not php, then it is nginx, because once nginx configuration I have showed you where I installed myself on my system. Now this configuration is not on this PC. It will be used inside a container. So here is a configuration. It's a simple configuration. It is saying server, listen on port 8080. It's a default server. Again, index.php, index.html, it should listen. And then the root I have set, since I have set the working directory here, var www.html. So public should definitely be inside as per the Laravel structure. So public is here, var www.html public. And then I have configured it here. Where is the PHP FPM? So this is a little bit different from the PHP FPM. I have used it over here. So on the system is PHP FPM is installed as a service on our system. So we just need to reference it with PHP FPM. But here for the Docker, we have to put like that. So fast CGI pass to localhost at port 9000. So by default, PHP FPM is listen on port 9000. So let's confirm it. So 9000 that binds to 127.0.0.1. So this is the default port on which it is listening. So I have to define it localhost port 9000. Since this file will be copied here in this, so once it's been copied and I'm saying to listen to localhost at port 9000, then nginx will be looking for this application inside the container. So localhost says is inside the container. If I put any other address, then it will be looking somewhere else. So if I put this is another container, if I put something here, so it will be looking for somewhere else. Now it will be looking inside. It will not look anywhere else. So this is it, nginx configuration as well. Now the next part is I have to define. So by using it, if I build an image, I have to run Docker on my system because I have installed the Docker here on my system. See, Docker PS, some containers are still working. I believe existing application is also running here. So let me down it. So it is going to stop. Okay. As my application is working fine, if my application is working fine here, now it's time to convert onto Docker. Since I have said Dockerfile is only required if we need to run our project either on Amazon ECS or on Kubernetes, then we require only the image. But if we are going to use it on our system, then we require another file, and that file is called Dockerfile. So Dockerfile is also needed here, and it has to be here at the root of my project. So here is my project, here is my project, and Dockerfile is here. So nano dockercompose.yml, not the Docker file, dockercompose.yml file. So this file is here. So it's a YAML file. The earlier one Docker file is not the YAML file. So indentation doesn't matter in Docker file, but here all the indentation like these spaces does matter. So either we can understand here or we can understand from here as well. So let's start from here. So first of all, I have defined version here, and then I have defined the services. So in services, if I can see, I have PHP FPM service and I have MySQL service. See, the indent is same. Indent is same here and MySQL, and below it all the relevant configuration, and PHP FPM, all the relevant configuration here. So there is a difference between PHP FPM and MySQL. So in MySQL, what I'm doing, I'm just putting image, and I have given the image name, which is MySQL colon 8.0.3. So if I put like this, then by default my dockercompose.yml file tells my Docker to pull MySQL with the tag 8.0.3. This is the tag. We define tag like this from Docker Hub. But here, if I come to PHP FPM, here I'm not giving a name directly. There are few more steps before giving a name. So here, what I'm saying, okay, PHP FPM, but we have to build it. Build the context dot here on my system, and then I have defined where is the Docker file. So if the Docker file is inside some folder, then I have to put like this. So I have to write the complete path, which is docker php docker file. Similarly, I am here on this path. This is my main repo, docker php docker file. So here also I am here. If I say pwd and I say docker, and then inside php, and I have docker file here. So this is how I do have all things here. So I have defined the docker file, and docker file I have already defined that what I have put it there. So this command from here, once it's been executed, then it will start building my docker commands, docker file commands, and finally it will run using shell command -c, composer install, and changing permission like 777 to storage, and these all are the command means and separating a command. It's like a script. So first it's installed once the container has been up, then it will install composer, and then change the permission to 777 to the storage, and then PHP FPM. So PHP FPM it will start, and then finally nginx will be started. Similarly, once it's been built up and container has start running, so the image building has been successful. So I named it as Laravel app. It's a simple name, and the container name, what will be the container name I'm going to use as container underscore name is Laravel app2, and it's saying restart unless stop. So somehow if my container has been crashed, at some point it should be restarted unless I stopped it administratively. Entity-wise true, and environment I am putting service name app, tag is dev. So environment you can put anything here. Working directory, again I have said var www.html, and then ports as well. In Dockerfile I have exposed 8080 ports, but here I am saying it should be mapped with 8090. So here is the container's original port, or the port which is defined in an image, that on which port it has to be listened, and my dockercompose.yml file is saying okay, it will be listening on 8080. I'm making it up, I'm running it, but do you want me to change the port on which you want to make it listen? So you can use 8080 as well if that port is available on your system. I means if no any other application is using 8080, then you can use it. My port has been occupied, so I have put here 8090 as well. So 8090 colon 8080. So if any request comes on 8090, it will be redirected to, or it will be forwarded to, more appropriate word, forwarded to 8080. And then similarly I'm saying volumes. So in volume I'm saying dot slash colon var www.html. It is saying, and I have it is saying whatever I am changing in my source code, definitely on my system, those source code or the coding will be reflected inside var www.html inside the container. So whenever I'm changing any file or change my code, I don't have to rebuild again and again. So the thing is, when everything is inside, so whatever I'm changing, it will be changing inside the container as well. So there is no need to rebuilding it after changing any single line or putting a semicolon or any other thing. So it will definitely be helpful for the developers as well. So, and then I'm putting here or creating a volume here. Name is Laravel data, and I map it with var www.html storage. So storage usually have the files we required, even the container has been crashed. So the volume, why volume are important? Volumes are important because in the volume we are keeping those files or those data which are not going to be vanished or not going to be destroyed when the container has been restarted. We all know that Docker container are ephemeral. Like if it is running, it has the data. Once a container has been restarted, all the data has been gone. So I want to keep storage data. So I have created a volume. Similarly, if I create the volume here, then I have to define the volume. This is a syntax, by the way. I have to put the volume and then Laravel data, the same volume name that I have used it here, Laravel data, and driver local. So by using a local hard disk driver, my data is being stored in my local Docker system. Definitely, if we are going on to Kubernetes or we are going to use ECS, we have to take care how we are going to handle the persistent volume. In Kubernetes, we are doing it in a other way. In ECS, definitely we are handling it in another way, like we can use EFS or the volumes as well. So this is about my first container. We have created a container, we have building it, and we are attaching a volume with it. Everything has been done. Now another container, I have to make a service like MySQL 2 image. I'm saying MySQL 8.0.3. So it is fetching or pulling the image MySQL 8.0.3. If it is not already on my system, then it will be pulling it from this repository which is on Docker Hub. Similarly, I've just put the name, container name, MySQL2 restart unless stop, the same thing, tt by true, and I have set the port here. Since my existing MySQL is running on 3306, so I made it to listen at 3308. And I have put the environment, MySQL root password. I've just put MySQL for the simplicity, and volume, definitely database. We don't want to lose anything if the container is in stop or it's been restarted. So for that, what I did, I just created a volume here, db data var lib MySQL. Var lib MySQL inside the container, whatever the data is being stored at db data. So if this container is being restarted in the database, all the data has been purchased. And then the last line here, it is saying dot slash my custom.cnf, and I'm linking this file or copying this file inside etc mysql conf.d mysql.cnf. So why this file I have used it here? Let me define you. It has just 2 lines in it, and let me define why. So this is a syntax for this file. It is saying mysqld bind address, which is 0.0.0.0, and ssl is equal to 0. Why it is required? because when I freshly install mysql2 as a container, the by default security comes in, which it is saying only SSL connection is been allowed, and it has to listen only on local host, means any connection which is coming from the outside, it's not allowed. So what is the problem? Let me remove it. Okay, let's suppose this is my DB container, and once it is running, it is saying I'm just listening on localhost and no any connection either from my system or from other container, which is my application, PHP application or the Laravel application. No connection is being allowed from outside if I keep it listen on 127.0.0.1, because it is saying for this container perspective 127.0.0.1 means it is inside. I'm not going outside. If I put here 127.0.0.1, then it means here this container should look into it, and this whole is my system. If I put 127.0.0.1, that means on my whole system, any code or anything has been listening on 127.0.0.1 means on my own machine. So coming back to DB, it is saying 127.0.0.1, so it is not going to listen or allow anything. So that is why I have put these two lines here. Bind on means allow any address, and SSL should be disabled. So I'm able to connect from here. I have able to connect from my this client 3308 on 3308. I'm able to create it. Where it is, root and root password and localhost. So this has been allowed. Now this container is down. Now we need to make this container up. Since I have already made this container up couple of times before recording this video, so my container is already been there. So it is currently stopped. I can start it by using this command, dockercompose up. If I do like this, it will just run the container, and MySQL container, it's run the MySQL container, and then take me to this Laravel container as well, and it is saying ready to handle the connection. But if I do like this, it is not running in a background, it is running in a foreground. So what we can do, we can run it in background as well. So we have to put a switch here, -d, docker compose up. Earlier we did, and now we are putting docker compose up -d. So if I put the -d, it is saying it will be running in a detachable mode. Now it is running. So if I do docker ps, by the way, docker ps is a way to look into what containers are listening. So image name that I have put is a Laravel app, and command it is running 59 seconds ago. Status is up. On what port it is listening? 9000 port, which is PHP FPM inside, and 8080 and 8090 it is listening, and whatever it's been the traffic has been sent to 8090, it's been forwarded to 8080, and similarly for IP version 6 as well. This container, and another one is 3308, which has been forwarded to 3306. It's a second container, and the container name is MySQL. So I have two containers from this command which is listening here. So since I have already created these container, sorry, so these containers are directly up, but once you will be building it, or if you want to rebuild it, so you will be seeing these commands, because instead of doing docker compose up minus d, I'm also putting here dash dash build. So it tells my docker to rerun all the commands in Dockerfile and then make it up using dockercompose.yml. So if I put like this, forcefully saying do this, and if we can analyze it, what it is saying, all the steps it's doing, and all the thing has been installed in my container popping up. Again, if I can see docker ps, it is saying on port 8090 it is listening. So what I will do, I will take the same name here and I'm going to put it on 8090. But see, here it is saying connection refused. But why the connection has been refused? Let's look into it. That we need to look into our env file. So here in my env, I'm saying db host is 100.1.127.0.0.1. So if I come here, and this is my folder where my application is running, and I'm saying look at the database, search for the database inside 127.0.0.1. So my database actually is not here. If it is not here, then application is giving error. Furthermore, how can I verify? I can definitely go inside the container as well and check either MySQL has been installed over there or not. So the command is docker exec -it, container name is Laravel app2, and then bin dash. So I'm inside the container, and see, whatever the work directory I have just set, it just goes in. And if I put pwd, I'm here exactly on this path. So do I have mysql dash dash version? No, it is not there. So if MySQL is not there and I'm trying to access it, definitely it's going to say connection refused. So what I need to do here, I just need to tell my system where exactly the database is. But before doing it, you will be making it like this. You have to connect with second database, like I did it here. Second database on port 3308, database name, maybe initially you don't have any name, and using root you have to connect, and after connecting with this database you have to take the dump like we did earlier, and you have to restore the dump here. So you come up over here and you have to restore the dump, whatever the dump I have taken, we have taken earlier, you have to put it here, put it back. So this is here, you have to take the backup and then put it here. So database has also been restored. Now I have to tell the system where exactly the database is. Let me put the proper username and the credential here, and then I will explain you what I did. Okay, now I tell the system for the DB host, instead of searching out to 127.0.0.1, you should look at MySQL2. DB host is a DNS name. I just given MySQL2. There is a thing, because if I do have the Docker compose, let me put it like this. If I have the Docker compose, whenever is been up, it creates its own a little bit of address space or the DNS, and in that address space any container, either this one or this one, could access the other container using its name. So I have put the database container name is mysql2, and this container is Laravel app2. So I have given the name like this here, mysql2, and then port, instead of 3308, I'm saying 3306. Again, inside the container, it is listening on 3306. It is inside the container, but with mapping with the system, with mapping, I have put 3308. So whenever my system is going to access via the main host, it will be calling 3308. Since I have put the directly DNS name of my container, so it should be accessible because they are inside, they are in a separate network. So 3306 will be accessible. That is why I have put the 3306, and then DB database is demo DB. All these things are required that I have put it here, and then username, definitely I have set the root, and DB password is MySQL. So these things are here, and I'm saving these things. See, I'm just change the value in env on the fly. I'm not going to rebuild this thing again, because whatever I did, it's already been reflected in the container. So if I come here and try to refresh it, my application is become live. But the main application that I running on the main system is died because of it is not able to find what is MySQL2, because MySQL2 is the name that my Laravel application can understand, but not my host can understand what is MySQL2. So my application is start running over here. It has the old database, copy has been attached, that is why it is showing like that. Let's test it. Test 2, whatever I put it here, I'm able to do this. If I'm able to delete it, yes, only this thing is here. I can add anything, I can just put it here. So this is how we are going to convert our application. So the important part, we have the image of this application. So if I show you Docker images, it is going to tell me this is the image that I have created. Tag is latest and size is 816 MB. Other images are as well, so I'm not taking care of it. The image that I have, the image that MySQL tag is 8.0.3 and the size is 343 MB. So this is the image, which is a pre-built image, and this image Laravel app2 that we make it by using PHP FPM 8.2. Based on that, so this is how we are going to convert our application into Docker. So this is all about it. In a next lecture or in an upcoming lecture, what we are going to do, we are just going to change it or going to run it on Amazon ECS. The same container or the same image we will be taking and putting it directly on AWS and try to run it on ECS. So share your thoughts in the comments below that how you like this video, anything you would like to add me here further. So do let me know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me.